Hey there, and welcome. So let's just jump right in. Today, we're talking about a little mental shortcut, this tiny glitch in our thinking that, honestly, we all use, a lot of the time without even noticing it. It's this habit of building a massive idea on top of a tiny, tiny foundation. I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever tried one dish at a new restaurant and just decided, nope, this whole place is bad? Or maybe you met one person from a city and kind of assumed, well, everyone there must be like that. Yeah, we've all done it. And it turns out this thing has a name. So let's call this what it is, the jumping to conclusions trap. And that's exactly what's happening, right? It's a cognitive trap our brains can so easily fall into, and it leads us to believe things that, well, they just aren't backed up by the facts. At its core, the trap works like this. Our brains grab one small piece of information, a single experience, just a tiny scrap of data, and then they stretch it to cover everything. It's a way of making these huge, sweeping judgments without doing the hard work of, actually gathering enough evidence. And look, this isn't just some random bad habit. It's a really well-known error in our reasoning. You could think of it like a glitch in our logical software, one that's been studied and, given a name. So let's go ahead and put an official label on it. The official term for this little mind trap is hasty generalization. This is a classic logical fallacy, and I'm telling you, once you learn to spot it, you are going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. The crucial part here is that idea of a small sample. It's like our brains are making a bet that this one tiny piece of info represents the entire puzzle. And that, my friends, is a bet we often lose. I love this phrasing, expansive conclusions from an inadequate quantity of examples. It just nails the problem, doesn't it? It's this huge mismatch between the tiny, tiny bit of evidence we have and the giant conclusion we try to build on top of it. To put it really simply, our brain is just trying to be efficient. It's trying to save energy. But in that rush, it takes a shortcut that all too often leads us down completely the wrong path. It is a classic case of picking speed over accuracy. Okay, I know this idea might still feel a little abstract, so let's make it crystal clear. We're going to look at three super quick examples: the Apple test, the classmate assumption, and the sneaker fad. These examples are going to show you just how easily this fallacy sneaks into our everyday thinking, from stuff as simple as what we see to how we make judgments about other people. Okay, so imagine you walk up to an apple tree, and you pick the very first apple you see. It's green. Based on just that one apple, you declare all the apples on this tree are green. And boom, that right there is the fallacy in action. You've taken a tiny sample, one single apple, and made this huge claim about hundreds of others you haven't even seen. Or how about this one? You start at a new school. The first 3 people you talk to are massive video game fans. You might think, wow, okay, everyone at this school must love gaming. But you've only talked to a tiny, tiny fraction of the student body. You've generalized their interests to the entire school. Classic hasty generalization. And finally, the sneakers. You notice all the popular kids are wearing a specific brand. Your brain instantly jumps to the conclusion, those must be the best sneakers. But are they really? You've generalized from a small, very specific group, the cool kids, to a universal quality of best, without even thinking if they're comfortable or durable or even the right fit for you. So now that we can spot this trap pretty easily, how do we avoid falling into it ourselves? Well, the key is to build better habits of mind that kind of force us to be a bit more careful. And interestingly, some of the best tools for this come from the world of clear communication. Right. So if hasty generalization is the disease, then the cure is just disciplined thinking. And the way we can practice that discipline is by holding ourselves to a much higher standard in how we form and, importantly, communicate our own ideas. The framework for this is actually super simple and really easy to remember. It's the 3 C's: be clear, be concise, and be consistent. You should think of these not just as rules for presentation, but as guardrails for your own logic. Being clear means there's no room for misunderstanding. Being concise means you cut out all the fluff. And being consistent means your logic actually holds together from start to finish. See, following these rules forces you to slow down and build your case carefully. You can't be clear or concise if your evidence is flimsy, which naturally stops you from jumping to a sloppy conclusion. And this is probably the most important takeaway here. The 3 C's aren't just about making a good slideshow. They are a workout for your brain. When you force yourself to be clear, when you force yourself to be concise, you have to confront the gaps in your own logic. You have to ask yourself, wait a minute, do I really have enough evidence to back this claim up? So let's pull all of this together. We've defined the problem, we've outlined the solution, and now you have a practical toolkit to really level up your critical thinking. You see, the goal of all this wasn't just to teach you a fancy new term. It was to actually arm you with a new lens to see the world through, one that helps you spot weak arguments and, just as importantly, build much, much stronger ones yourself. So here it is, your toolkit. First, recognize the trap. Whenever you hear a big, sweeping claim, check the evidence behind it. Second, ask questions, especially of yourself. The most powerful one is simply, is there really enough information here? And third, use the 3 C's to make sure your own reasoning is rock solid. So I'll leave you with a final challenge. Now that you know exactly what to look for, listen to the conversations around you, watch the news, and even just pay attention to your own thoughts. What hasty generalization are you going to spot, and maybe even challenge, today?